Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Live on Purpose. It's your girl, Purpose, and I'm standing in front of Cleveland Public Library's Eastman branch, right at the site of MJ's murder. MJ here in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. Today, we're going to talk to two moms who have gone through a great loss, the loss of their sons. Stay tuned. Tell a friend to tune in as we explore losing your son and what it means to stop the violence. Joanne and Tara, welcome to Live on Purpose. I just want to thank you guys for being with us today. I know that it's rough. Any conversations about you guys' sons are going to be rough, but I feel the public needs to know their stories. And so I invited you all here so that they can learn more about your sons and then about what you would like to see done in the community. So I'm going to start with you, Joanne. Can you tell us about MJ's story?
Actually, when all the violence was taking place in Cleveland, well, going back, my son was a victim of bullying also before. That's a form of violence.
Absolutely.
So he was like a little boy, being bullied on at school, in the communities, just because he was different.
Right.
Yeah. And from my understanding now, his purpose in life. So, I had to go through life all my days, his days, of being 5 to 18 years old, being a victim of bullying, being a victim of violence. And this was his walk, this was his mission.
Right.
I understand now what his purpose in life was.
Okay.
So when he began to know that all his friends was being killed due to the violence, that's when he kind of stepped up.
Okay.
And said that he really wanted to make a difference. And he just began to promote Stop the Violence.
Okay.
And as soon as that came in play, he was a victim of violence.
Right.
The same thing he was trying to
Avoid
promote.
Yeah. So tell us about what happened to MJ that evening,
actually. The night before, my daughter, Kaisha, he was talking on the phone. And he was saying that I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried. And it bothered my daughter so much that I was sleeping and she was doing her hair. And she came in and she said, "Mommy," she woke me up out of my sleep.
Wow.
Like, she said that MJ not worried about it. She said, "Mommy, Mustafa keeps saying that I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it." So I went in there in the room, and by this time I stood at the door just to hear him talking on the phone. And I kind of heard a little bit about him responding to whoever was on the phone.
Right.
But he was like, "Whatever, I'm not worried." And that's when the next morning, he was going off to school, and he hadn't saw his niece yet, baby niece. She was like, how many days old? For about a week, a month old.
Okay.
And he was there long enough to see her, and that's when he went. He left.
Went to school.
He went to school.
Right. Okay.
And before then, he was in the kitchen, and he was cleaning his tennis shoes. That morning, I really didn't care if he went to school or not, but I said, "MJ, you got to get up and go to school." So he began to scrub his tennis shoes, and he put the tennis shoes, he followed me all in the kitchen. And I was like, "MJ, you can't put your shoes on that where we eat at, the counter. But everywhere I went to in the kitchen, he followed me. And then God allowed me, when he was scrubbing his tennis shoes, and it was like the phone was getting whiter, and God allowed me to say, MJ, the more you scrub those shoes, the whiter they get. So he just looked at me. He got my attention then. From there, he let me know the color that later, you know. But he was telling me that this is my color.
Okay.
And he left out the door, it was a phone call. Some said, answer. But he came back. And that's what happened. Then he proceeded to school. I said, where are you going? He said, I'm about to meet my friend up here. And by this time, he left. And my oldest son came. Usually he'll be like, MJ, come on, let me take you to school. But my son said he couldn't even say that. Get in the car. Because my son was at the corner, like, with his hands on his hips, like. And however, they were looking for him. And I believe my son didn't want to be at the home because the young men was on the prowl for him. So he had to leave home because he didn't want to bring it to the house.
Right.
You know.
Take us to that evening. So what happened to MJ later on after school? And
Yes, so the time when I got a call, I couldn't believe it. Like, Tara, I couldn't believe it. You know, that somebody who playing on the phone, like, I was going to get my daughter's phone turned on. I said, well, let me hurry up to the phone place to get his phone turned on, get her phone turned on, so I could communicate with whoever's, if they decide they want to call back. So she called from school stating that MJ has been shot up at the library. And by this time, I'm at the phone company, and I'm just right up the street at the library, from the library. So I said, well, let me go up here. And I saw his jacket. I came in and said that you know, it was just messed up because I went to the library.
Right.
And the detective, O'Malley, he kind of took his time for telling me. And I was like, could you please tell me? Right. He said, okay. Is this MJ jacket? I said, yes, it's MJ jacket. And from there, I just flipped out, you know, and they took me to the hospital. So that's what happened.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long after that were the suspects and, you know, who did this to MJ apprehended?
Oh, it took 41 days.
41 days.
Yes, because the young man that set him up cut his dreads. He had dreads.
Okay, so he changed his identity a
yes,
little bit. Okay.
Yes, he did. And, but it took 41 days.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that story.
Yes.
Tara, can you share your story, Shawan's story?
Yeah, my son was Shawan Wiseau. He was a senior at Lakewood High. One of his friends, because you know when they have a party in Lakewood, the police always shut it down early. So she had the party on Bosworth at her aunt's house.
Okay.
Him and his best friend Steve was leaving the party, and when he left the party, they got to Lynette, and his best friend Eric called him and told him, "Come back, don't leave me. I'll take you home." So when they turned left onto Lynette and was backing out, as they were backing out, either the guy ran up on the car or the guy shot first. We don't know exactly what happened, but the neurologist said that my son looked that way and it hit him here. His best friend didn't know. All he knew was somebody was shooting. So he shot down Bosworth, but then my son, he was asking my son, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Right.
And my son fell in his lap. And that's when he realized that my son was hit.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped and jumped out and banged on people's doors, to get somebody, call the police. He's a kid from the suburbs. He's never been, even seen nothing like that. And so when I got the call, just so happened, it was so funny. My son had my car earlier that night. He brought my car home, and he said, "Mom, I thought you were going out to, I was supposed to go to cabaret." And I was like, "I'm tired." I was in my bed, I was sitting on the edge of my bed. And he said, "Mom, give me some money." I said, "I don't carry cash." So my boyfriend at the time, he was like, "Here," and gave me the money.
Okay.
And he left my car. He said, "You need to go out." Well, the people we were supposed to go to the cabaret with showed up. So we wound up going out. It was like 3:30 in the morning. And we were at their house. And my phone was in the bottom of my purse. At the same time, I pick up my phone, my boyfriend picked his phone up, and we're both getting information at the same time. My sister is a nurse at Metro Hospital.
Okay.
And she called me, and my first instinct was, "What you doing up?" 'Cause we
Yeah,
don't be
at
out.
this time,
What you doing up? And she said, "Tara, get to the hospital." I said, "Why?" "It's Shawan, get to the hospital." I'm like, "What?" She was like, I hung up thinking she was playing. She called me back and she said, "Tara, I'm serious, you need to get even shot." But I'm thinking, now mind you, I'm on 93rd.
Okay.
Girl, I made it to Metro Hospital in 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes to be exact.
Yes.
And I didn't put my car in park. I slammed the car. I got there and I just jumped out. Thank God he slammed the car. My whole car jerked and everything. But I flew up. My niece was waiting on me downstairs. And when I got upstairs, I should have knew something was wrong. Like I said, they had cops with the little riot hats on and stuff. But my sister told them, my sister husband will tell us how to.
Oh my goodness.
This how y'all better do something.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let me see him at first. And I can say, let me see my son, but they were trying to tell me don't DNR him. So then my sister finally started saying, "Tara, I'm not talking to you as your sister, I'm talking to you as a nurse. Do not when he goes, do not DNR him." But I couldn't understand, you know what I'm saying, what she was saying. All I wanted to do was see my baby.
Right.
And when I got in there, they had his hair wrapped up, which is a blessing now, because I didn't see him like that. My sister got there right after they did surgery on him. He had sutures in his head, so they hid all that from me. I didn't see any of that. Yeah. So that's a blessing, because that's an image my image of my child laying there. You know, if I raised my baby in the streets, you kind of know what go with the territory.
Right.
I did. My baby was a wrestling star, a track star, and a football star. Anybody can Google my baby.
Right.
You know, so for his life to be taken, and I have no justice. You know, nobody, and then I grew up in that neighborhood.
And nobody stepped in.
And nobody has come forward and said nothing. We've heard stories. It says nothing. So that's where I have no peace.
Right.
You know.
And what has law enforcement, what is their answer to you not having justice?
Well, we hit the streets because, like I said, we're from over there.
Right. And this is the west side of Cleveland.
West side of Cleveland by 1st District.
Okay.
Bosworth was our stomping grounds. I didn't even know it was gangs or nothing over there.
Okay.
You know, this is the first time I heard Bel Air boys and Madison boys and what is they from felon something hardest. I had never heard about none of this.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing until this happened. So I couldn't. Why my baby? What happened? And we've heard several stories like, well, the police. I don't even call them no more. I call them once a year now on his death pay. Because y'all, I'm doing more work than y'all. And I'm getting answers and y'all telling me, you know, every year somebody calls or inboxes me on Facebook and tell me they heard this, they heard that. They're telling me, oh, we know who did it, but won't nobody come forward. Well, if you know who did it, why did you not pick their ass up at this time?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
You know?
Sarah, you know, when we come back, I want everybody to just really pay attention and take heed to these conversations that we're having with these mothers. This is real life. When we come back, more from Tara and Joanne and the losses of their sons. Welcome
everybody back to Live on Purpose. And I know usually we have a lot of fun and we do a lot of joking, but today we decided to get to the meat of the issue within our community, and that is the loss of our Black men specifically. And so I wanted to bring Joanne and Tara to the show today, and you heard their stories. Now I want to ask the question, what does it feel to hear another mother's story? How does that affect you?
I feel her pain.
Yeah.
You know, I feel how she feels. The only difference between me and her, both of us are Black sons.
Right.
Black on Black crime.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
teenagers out here they're killing each other over the pettiest things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sitting there with life in prison, you gonna look back and say, I was 15 shooting this gun, I done killed this man for nothing.
For nothing.
For absolutely nothing.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And I feel that there's no sense of reality
None.
when this is happening. We desensitize our children to the point where they don't even know that you've just taken
Lives
a
for
life.
nothing. When we were growing up, it was you fight the cuff.
Mhm.
You know, you go off, you hand to hand.
Right.
Now these kids don't even know how to fight. All y'all know how to do is shoot.
Right. Right.
And it need to start at home. These mamas need to get your kids under control. These little boys out here, little girls out here shooting and killing. That don't make no sense.
Right. Joanne, how do you feel?
I feel a unity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel God is working
That he is.
among his children.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a closeness
Right.
because I can relate.
Mm-hmm.
And the next mother that's feeling what I'm feeling is a comfort to me that I can relate and
Yeah.
they can relate to me.
Absolutely.
But most of all, I just love the unity,
Mm-hmm.
soul to soul,
Right.
Right.
you know, where we can just express ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
on how we feel,
Right.
come as we are, speak from our heart.
Right.
The way it's made, even though our children's lives were sacrificed
Mm-hmm.
for this violence that's taking place.
Right.
But God is doing something for the women and the mother that we can't do for ourselves, and I thank him for that.
Mhm.
Because I feel I don't know her personally, but I do know her.
Right.
Because we are united, and we're united
Senseless
together.
violence.
Yeah, for the
Absolutely.
senseless violence.
And I thank y'all for giving us a platform. Because if I can, you know, help a mother stop her child from going out there living this life.
Yeah.
Because if someone takes your child, this is going to be you sitting on the other side of this camera.
Absolutely.
You know, and another thing we got to do as far as in our especially in our Black communities,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we have this no snitching. Honey, what do you mean? We're losing our children out here.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
If you lost your child, you'd want somebody to come forward and say, this is who did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing in our Black community we got to get away from. The no snitching.
Yeah, we as a community, we do not we're not expressive. We don't communicate from sexual abuse in the homes to violence to snitching,
Domestic violence.
domestic violence. We feel like those are that they represent our families as being crippled as opposed to speaking up.
Absolutely.
And so I want to pose a question to you all. I mean, you both are vocal. You both talk about, you know, the stopping the violence and things like that. But what can the community do? What didn't the community do to stop this senseless violence to your sons?
Speak up. It took 41 days.
Uh-huh.
Hers was on camera.
Right.
So y'all couldn't come out and say, I know him, that's little whoever.
Right.
Me, I still have no justice. As a community, this mess will stop. If you see something, they start seeing the community taking their neighborhoods back.
That's right.
And say, oh, I know who that is. That's Dora's son, John. You get to telling them, honey, that's going to shut all this down.
Right.
But they know no one's going to say anything.
Right.
You get to say, oh, I saw that. Hold on, I'm calling 911 in your face. That ain't snitching.
Right.
Snitch is when I do it behind your back. If I do it in your face, that's not
That's
snitching.
not snitching. And the other thing is fear until it hits home.
Oh, then you want
know,
some help.
Right. Then you want to cry out to the community for help, and then
Absolutely.
you want people to speak up.
Absolutely.
But when it's down the street, it's not touching you personally, so you don't have a vested interest in that.
And that's another thing, mother to mother. A mother, even when I was seeing it, because you know, right before my son they were just more young men were out there, and I was crying for these mothers.
Mm-hmm.
I used to sit there and say, I never want to feel that. And I'd be doggone if I wasn't the one to feel it.
Yeah.
Don't no mother or parent want to outlive their child.
What would you say to the black men in our community right now that will help them stop what's going on?
Step
Step
up.
up.
You both said it at the same
Yeah.
Step
time.
up.
And you
Black
ladies just
men,
met
step
today.
up.
Yes, you ladies just met
Step
today.
up. I seen in Chicago where little kids going into school and you got a line of black men cheering them on, slapping their hand. Did you see that? That's what we need. Black men, step up. Take our communities back. Give these children some guidance. A lot of our black families don't have men in the home.
Right.
So black men in our communities, step up.
Right.
Give these children a different outlet. When we were coming up, my dad, him and my uncle, all neighborhood boys, they had baseball teams.
Mm-hmm.
Step up.
Where there is nothing to do, make
Make
something.
something.
Absolutely.
Step up.
Absolutely.
These women are out here raising these kids and they can't teach a boy to be a man. Step up.
Right. And law enforcement. I mean, their job is to come in after the violence has happened. Yeah.
Yes.
But what could they do in our communities to contribute, as opposed to just simply being there or being there after it's happened to apprehend whoever or possibly apprehend whoever, because sometimes they don't even, do that. What could they do?
Listen to the community.
Yes, because my son was spoke at Marshall, and he directed his concern as far as the police officers and the community to the mayor. So we was talking about as far as having the police officers out here, and the black man saying, no, we don't need the police out here.
Right.
My son was trying to address that we need police, yes.
Know your community.
Yes.
Right.
Know
To
your
be
community.
on call,
Yes.
Because then they'll be more susceptible to talk to.
Absolutely.
If you know me, if you don't stop me because I'm walking down the street. Stop and say good morning.
Right.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Miss Jenkins? Know your community, because your community will give back to you when you know your community.
Yeah, I have a story. My son has always been a big boy, and that's threatening to some officers. And I can remember him just simply walking down the street and a newer officer coming on board and kind of harassing him. And another one came by and said, no, that's mine.
Yeah.
He plays football for the high school. And so I agree. Once you know who you're serving and protecting in the community, then that cohesiveness is there to where you're not harassing, you're an actual presence
And
of
that's
protection.
why a lot of people don't want to do the police, because the only time you come there is to harass or put your throw your weight around. No, you were given to protect and serve. Protect and serve your community.
Yeah.
And they're now with all these killing, these cops killing all these kids, now more than ever, know your community.
Absolutely. Ladies, I just want to thank you so much for being guests on Live on Purpose. I know that this is not going to solve your pain, but what it will do is bring awareness to what's happening in our streets.
Yes.
And people need to hear from the mothers who have suffered the loss of their children. Thank you guys so much for being
You're
here.
welcome.
Thank you for having us and giving us this platform.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. I'll have a few final words in just a moment.
Standing on the corner of where Shawan was gunned down, I come to you letting you know that gun violence is real, be it on the streets of Cleveland or the streets of America. It needs to stop. Thank you for tuning in to our show today, and I hope that you learned that the community needs you. Stop the violence. Live on Purpose. Thank you for tuning in.
My son was Shawan Wanzo. He was murdered on April 15th, 2012. If anyone out there has any type of information, I'm on Facebook, Tara Jackson Price. My son has his own page, which is Shawan Wanzo Rest in Peace page. If you know anything or have any information, please come to go to his page or mine. You can leave a tip anonymously. You can call Crime Stoppers. But please, I'm asking you, mother to mother, sister to sister, friend to friend. If you know you were in my shoes, you will want someone to help you. So please, if anybody knows anything regarding my son's murder on April 15, 2012, on Bosworth and Thrush, please contact us at those two pages or Crime Stoppers.
Hello, I'm Kaisha Muhammad. I am the sister of Mustafa McWater, who's the founder of MJ Number One Stop the Violence nonprofit organization. My mom, Joy McWater, is the CEO of MJ Number One Stop the Violence organization. If you would like to reach out to us concerning fundings or participation in events that you would like to get involved with us with, you can reach us at mjnumber1.stoptheviolence@yahoo.com. Thank you for your support.